And then just do 2 sentences of underdog music. Okay, gotta go.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here with us today. We're going to open with a song and then a blessing.
We are a new unsettling force. You say that?
We are a new unsettling force.
And we are powerful.
And we are powerful.
We are a new unsettling force.
We are a new unsettling force.
And we are here.
And we are here.
We are a new unsettling force.
We are a new unsettling force.
For liberation.
For liberation.
And we got nothing to lose.
And we got nothing to lose.
But our chains.
But our chains.
We are a new unsettling force. And we are powerful. A new unsettling force. And we're here. A new unsettling force for liberation. And we got nothing to lose. But our chains. We are a new unsettling force. And we are unsettling force, and we're here. A new unsettling force for liberation, and we got nothing to lose but our chains. And we got nothing to lose but our chains. And we got nothing to lose but our chains. And we got nothing to lose but our chains. And we got nothing to lose but
Good morning, everybody. Just want to start by thanking you all for joining us today. We're live broadcasting on both Facebook and YouTube. If everybody could take a moment to click share or to send this out to your loved ones so more people can tune in, that would be great. Thank you. So first, I'd like to open with a blessing. I'd like to introduce to you all two very special people to us. We call her Aunt Maggie, and we call her Grandma Betty. But I introduce to you all Magdalena Steele and Betty Castillo.
Everybody, today we travel through time and space to meet on a sacred day. You know, we have quite a few holidays in America, but there is only really 3 that are sacred. Memorial Day, because it's memorializing those that have been lost. Labor Day, because it recognizes all the hard work that everyone does. And Martin Luther King Day. Not Christmas, not Easter, not the President's Day. Martin Luther King Day, because it is a day of spirituality. Today, on this day, we come together to remember a human being that was known all over the world for justice and change. He spoke about going to the mountaintop. He knew he would not make it there. It's our legacy and our charge. And as so much is going on with COVID and the disruptions that we have, in fact, we have to be grateful. Because if it wasn't for this time, with all of these things happening, we would not continue right now with the way that we feel right now, with our anger for the injustice, to continue the dream of Martin, which is finish his work, create a society that is equal and just and caring and kind. And not only for us precious humans, but for our precious earth. For what we do to ourselves, we do to the earth, and the earth is our provider. On this spiritual day, uplift ourselves, remind ourselves that no matter what, like in that phrase, so long as we can crawl or walk, we will move forward like the sun. We will rise like the sun. During this time, I wanted to make a song, and so many musicians and artists and poets, we brought our hearts and minds. So there's a song I made, and the lyrics are this. They say, everybody, everybody, come and sing and drum and dance and heal our soul and feel our soul. And how together with the youth, we can rise like the sun, just like the sun. So we wish blessings to our Eagle fan, blessings for all of you, for our elders, like my mama who marched with Martin Luther King, and for the ancestors, Martin Luther King and your grandparents and your people that no longer walk the earth. They are our ancestors, and they are waiting for the fruition of their dreams and our dreams. And you know why I say we're traveling through time? Because we're going back in time to remember Martin Luther King and all the spiritual energy that he brought. And we're going back in time, and we're bringing it here to the present to get together and share our poetry and our music and our words with the youth and the elders and everyone who comes. And we're here in the present for the future. What we do today is for the future. Tell me that ain't a time traveling machine. So blessings on all of you, for everyone you love and everything you believe in, for the past and the present and the future. And Mama, did you want to say anything?
Well, I wanted to say that Martin Luther King, like us, we're all born with a purpose, and we all deserve the basic human rights of health, of safety, of education, and everything in equality. And that's what he was marching for, with the nonviolent movement of love and peace. And every human being deserves that. Every child. And he went through the feeling of segregation, because when he was a child, he used to play with his neighboring boys and the neighborhood boys, and he loved them, and they were white. And then one day he went to play with them, and they said, "We can no longer play with you." And they were going to segregated schools, and he said, "Why?" He said, they told him, "Because you're an eagle." And he took that pain with him throughout his life, and he wanted equal opportunity for everybody. So these are a few words that.
So my mom wishes those blessings of change for all of you, and we thank you. And we like to end with this song. Everybody, everybody, everybody sing and drum your heart and heal your soul and feel your soul. Everybody, everybody, we can lead the way to a better day with the warrior strength, with justice and grace, and together with the youth, we'll rise like the sun, just like the sun. And when we carry on, we honor the battles hard won by the elders and the ancestors for justice and truth, to empower the youth, for justice and truth, to empower the youth. Oh, blessings, everyone. Peace.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Aunt Maggie. Thank you, Grandma Betty, for those beautiful words and that, just that reminder to ground us as we start this day. So I just want to give thanks again for everybody joining us today. Um, my name is Rocky Zapata. I'm with the Auburn Hip Hop Congress. I'm just very grateful to be able to be a part of offering this celebration and this honoring of Dr. Martin Luther King every year. And I just wanted to take a minute, especially to give thanks to Millie Livingston, who helped start this 36 years ago in Auburn. And this has been running every year since. And that's taken such a commitment. And I'm just grateful to be part of carrying that march forward and picking up the torch and running with it. And I hope that we can encourage others to do the same. That's what we do as Auburn Hip Hop Congress. And we really just want to engage and empower our community and especially our young people to know that they're powerful and to take action. So you're going to be hearing a lot of amazing speakers today sharing exactly about that, touching in on the life and the legacy of Dr. King, but also movements of the past and how they relate to today. And, I'll let others be the ones that speak to some of these things because we are so lucky to have such an amazing group of people coming together to share with you all. And I'm going to introduce our host to start because I'm not the host today. I'm the tech guy. So thank you, everybody. You'll see me a little more today, but I'd like to introduce to you all two very close people to me that I am just so proud of and appreciate. Vanessa Poley and Haley Hanley. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, everyone.
And I have a few words here that I want to share. First, I'll start with Vanessa. I'm just so grateful, to be a father figure in her life and to, call her my family. And I'm just so proud of her as a young leader and as a human and just who she is as a person and as a mother. She is one of the youngest directors of an after school program here in Auburn. And she's just, continuing to make her mark. And I'm excited to introduce her to you guys. She's been working on a project with a close friend, Haley Hanley. And this project's called Cagebird Radio. They're co-hosting a podcast radio that you guys can find out more from them about in just a second. But I just wanted to let you guys know who they were. They're both advocates and activists, outspoken members of our community who have grown up here. And, Haley is a BIPOC LGBTQ plus member, and I'll just say it so those that may not know, BIPOC meaning Black, Indigenous people of color, and then LGBTQ plus, that's our community that we're finding new language and new words to share. But I'm just so grateful to have them here with us and to have Haley, able to kind of share some of that as well and to represent that today. So thank you both for being here, and I'll turn it over to you guys.
Thanks, Rocky.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, that was a great intro. Oh man, those words in that song really, really were amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so I just want to kind of jump in and talk about what today means for me and what it has meant. And so Martin Luther King Jr. Day has always been a point of me being able to acknowledge my Blackness and remembering what my ancestors have overcome. It's a time for me to reflect on our systems and policies and how they have changed for the rights of not just Black Americans, but minorities in general. MLK was such an important starting point for me as a young child, understanding my roots, understanding what it means to stand up for the rights of others no matter what the cause. And as an adult, I can fully more understand the importance of MLK, how he's an important icon for so many people to relate to and look up to. As of today, I understand even more deeply how important it is to celebrate MLK. The fight for freedoms and equality is not through. And as we look to guidance from the actions MLK took, we can compare the movement in the 50s and 60s to the movement today. MLK said, there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor popular, but they must take it because their conscience tells them it's right. When reflecting on this quote, I was thinking to myself, I know people who are choosing to ignore what's happening today and how it's a challenge for them to see that injustices that were happening in the 50s and 60s and obviously past that are still happening today. They may not always be as blatant and boldly in your face, but deep down, there are so many roots in systemic racism that we're not dug up. It's time that we uproot the old ways of.
Hey, I apologize. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But I think that people are able
Go
to
ahead.
hear you clearly. It was cutting out in and out.
There's something from the speaker.
If there's something in front of the speaker or anything that might be causing it, or the mic. But how about we
Sorry, hey.
real quick, and sorry everybody.
No,
Thank
okay.
Thank you for bearing with us.
I can hear her now.
I can hear you now. So that was so important. Would you mind sharing again, Haley? We'll take the time.
Let's just do a quick practice. Can you start talking just a little bit? Make sure you're not breaking up again. Malcolm.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'll just start back with the quote. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor popular, but they must take it because their conscience tells them that it's right. Did that help at all?
It's a little choppy.
As I was saying, was that good?
You're good. Just go ahead.
Okay, all right. When reflecting on this quote, I thought to myself, I know people who are choosing to ignore what is happening today. How it is a challenge for them to see that the injustices that were happening in the 50s and 60s and beyond that are still happening today. They may not always be as blatant and boldly in your face, but deep down, there are so many roots in systemic racism that were not dug up. It is time that we uproot the old trees of deeply rooted racism and start a new landscape. I think so many people are afraid to lose those trees that have been with us for centuries because they are so used to their leaves shading them from the light that needs to be shined on our current issues. It is important to remember, though, trees come rot from their own roots. Just because it seems pretty doesn't mean that there's not a fungus infecting it from the roots. We must thoroughly examine our roots, and if they are no longer suitable, then we can replant something that will grow into an even more beautiful landscape. MLK paved the way, laid down the soil, and now it is our turn to continue to take care of what was provided. So we may ask ourselves, what can we do? How can we help? Some examples that you may be able to do for yourself is by just standing up for somebody if you hear something that's not right, even if that's in person or on social media, as long as it's safe. I would never encourage anybody to do anything that's not safe. Another thing you can do, make donations to nonprofits that are contributing to the movement. You can create art. You can also share on social media. And for me personally, over the summer, Vanessa and I were talking and we felt like we needed to do something to contribute because we had so many thoughts about today's movement. We needed a place for us and for people who can relate or want to learn. And I'll go ahead and let Vanessa take over on that one.
So Hay and I worked really hard to start our podcast, Cagebird Radio, to give ourselves and others. I have a toddler, Malcolm. So we worked really hard to give ourselves and others a safe platform to really make a mark in this movement, because every little difference matters, and we're making one, and it feels really good. It feels powerful. And my hope for all of you is that you're able to find where your puzzle piece fits. It took so long for me to feel like I had a place, and even longer to figure out where that was. And I'm still searching. It can seem really hopeless to try and find a place in this movement, especially during a global pandemic. Here, come here, baby. Come join me. But I promise there is a place for each and every one of us. We are all needed in this movement. We're fighting for Black, Indigenous, people of color. We're fighting for women. We're fighting for the LGBTQ community. MLK said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." It seems like every day we're having to decide where we stand. Most days it comes easy, some days it's harder, but every day we have to face the challenge and controversy. In those times of struggle, I challenge you to choose kindness, choose love, and choose to change our world for the better. But also remember that it's okay to be angry, it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to feel hopeless. MLK and so many other leaders in the revolution have paved the way for the movement we face today. And too many of Martin's quotes are relevant today. That's why we not only... Malcolm, please, honey. That's Have a kiss. Thank you. That's why we not only celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., but continue his fight. This event holds a special place in my heart. Before I found Cagebird Radio, this was really the strongest platform I had to share my story and be heard. And as a young woman of color in a predominantly white town, this experience and opportunity is invaluable. Thank you all for being with us virtually. We have a beautiful event planned, and thank you for being understanding of my little baby Malcolm. So I know we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I hope you all heard me. And we're going to jump over to Hay again.
All right. I hope that my lag is better. So I want to introduce to everybody Daniela Zimmerman and Helena Janis. They're local Auburn resident and political activist Daniela Zimmerman and her younger sister, musician and singer-songwriter Helena Janis, have carried on the traditions of music, teaching, and political activism that have been part of their family heritage for generations. And here they are with their song, Woke Up This Morning.
Hello, my name is Helena Janusz, and this is my sister, Daniela Zimmerman, and we're going to be singing a song for you called Woke Up This Morning. It's a song we learned from our dad. He was a singer and political activist in the 60s and 70s in Southern California, and he included this song in his repertoire often, especially when he was singing at political functions and civil rights events. So we thought it would be a great song to add to the celebration today for Martin Luther King Jr.
And if you know it, or even if you don't, it's pretty easy to sing along with us. And it's about staying woke and walking the walk, and not just talking the talk, but both.
Yeah.
And using your words and your actions in a way in keeping with Dr. King's lessons. Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, it ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on freedom. It ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on freedom. It ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We'll walk, walk, we'll walk, 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 walk with the mind of freedom. Talk, we'll talk, talk, walk, walk with the mind of freedom. Ooh, walk, walk, talk, talk. Well, I walk and talk with my mind. Stay on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind. Stay on freedom. Walking and talking with my mind. Stay on freedom. Hallelujah. 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 Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yeah.
Hello. That was beautiful. Yay. I wish you guys could have seen Malcolm dancing in the room while throwing his ball to that beautiful song. Thank you guys. It was really, I think that I really needed that upbeat one. So thank you. I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Law of Knowledge of Self-Productions, or KOS. He is the author, the lyricist, and the narrator. The author, lyricist, and narrator of Underdog Music. Underdog Music presents Civil Rights or Human Rights, Strategies for 2021 and Beyond. And I think...
All right. So I'm actually just waiting for him to tune in.
Okay.
I
can redo that if you want. I wasn't sure. I was trying to see if he was in there.
I believe he's logging on in just a minute, but maybe I'll give a little context to having him come share today, if that's all right.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
Right.
Let me get off the screen so you guys can't hear my wonderful toddler.
I tell him I said hi. I love you, Malcolm.
Love you, Malcolm.
So yeah, Tyrone or Lakim Law is somebody we've known for about, 12 years. When we started Hip Hop Congress in Auburn, like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, we were busy in the Sacramento Hip Hop Congress in the hip hop scene out there. And we got to meet Law when he was doing music then. And, you know, it's a funny story because now we're going to tell you a lot today about the Poor People's Campaign. And recently, I think it was in 2018, we had a MLK march in Sacramento where he was a keynote speaker at a community center afterwards. And after hearing him speak, you know, it didn't occur to us until he had already gotten into his talk who it was up there. We hadn't seen him in almost 10 years. You know, so it was amazing discussion amazing keynote that he gave that day. And so we asked him to join us again for this one. And it looks like he's logging on, but his mic and camera aren't there. Law, if you can hear me, could you log out and log back in and make sure you approve your camera? Thank you. And then Vanessa, I think if you do an intro in a second, it should work out.
Okay, so just redo my intro.
Yeah, let's wait 2 seconds for him to hear it. And then how's everybody doing out there? If you are having a good time so far and you're feeling the good vibes, please share this with the world. Comment in the comment section. We love to see your guys' enthusiasm. It lets us know we're doing good. And, you know, it's so good that we can all get together still, even in 2021 during this pandemic, to be able to offer this program and to be able to come together as a community. I hope we all leave inspired and ready to take action even more, you know, this year than last. So, Vanessa, if you'd like to do the intro, I believe he'll be signing in any moment now.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna wait a little minute. I just want to say real quick that I love how these online lives are going. I think it's so necessary in our times to get together and feel that sense of connection. So I really appreciate everyone logging on and my mom and Rocky for constantly making things like this happen. So, all right, are we logged in, Rock? Can I get a thumbs up? I don't see him on here.
Okay, so I don't see him yet, and radio may not be on. So I think Tyrone is just having a little trouble getting on. So maybe we skip to a song right now. Would that be all right, Natalie?
Sure.
Okay. I had to get permission from the boss. You know how it is.
So we did Poor People's Campaign one right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Everybody's got a right to live.
I'm gonna play another song for you all. Hope you guys enjoy. This is another movement song from the Poor People's Campaign.
Thank you all for sticking with us.
Hey, this is the first time we've done this.
With this one?
It'll be worth it, I promise.
All right. Here we go.
Because this campaign is paying homage to
So, La, we'll be on in just a second, brother.
in the now of a movement. We're bridging the gap between 1968 and 2018, which is 50
All right,
years.
so we're gonna pull up
Just
this amazing song, and this it's called "Music
so we
the
also
Ecology,"
incorporated
meaning
a new
that we're
part
all
that
supposed to sing along.
incorporates,
And these are for the marches. These are for
this camp-
when we're in person as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this beautiful song.
We good on time? We're pretty good on time.
There it is. All right, everybody, enjoy.
Because this campaign is paying homage to the old and the new, we think about the then and the now of a movement. We're bridging the gap between 1968 and 2018, which is 50 years of just revolution and 50 years of activism. So we also incorporated a new part that incorporates hip hop, a little hip hop aspect to it. So they bring the old with the new. So when we get to that, we'll teach you how the words flow and go.
So your words are first, everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody has a right to live. You got that?
Got that.
All right.
And so then the second part will be everybody's got a right to live, and then you all will say to live. And then everybody's got a right to love,
To love.
Everybody's got a right to dream, to dream. Everybody's got a right to learn, to learn. Got it? All right.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live, to live. Everybody's got a right to dream, to dream. Everybody's got a right to love, to love. Everybody's got a right to learn, to learn. Everybody's got a right to live, to live. Everybody's got a right to do. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign ends, we'll all go down to jail. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live.
Hey, everybody. So I am in communication with our keynote. There is a little bit of technical difficulties. We did test it yesterday and it was working fine, but for some reason he's having trouble connecting his camera. So we're gonna fix that as in the background and kind of move along with our program a little bit. I'm gonna take the lead here, and I'll kind of fit in something I was gonna talk about later, but it's the perfect time since we just saw that video. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the Poor People's Campaign, a moral revival for our nation. A continuation of the dream and work of Dr. King. When, you know, shortly before he was assassinated, he was beginning something called the Poor People's Campaign, and he was bringing together and uniting across so many dividing lines and turning his attention in some ways to human rights and economic rights, and where oppression exists in other areas as well, that could bring us together so that we can create change systemically. Because I think he was starting to see there was so much connected. And today, for the last couple of years, I've been grateful to be a part of the Sacramento Poor People's Campaign, and there was a relaunch of the national campaign with Reverend Dr. William Barber and Reverend Dr. Liz Theo Harris, who are helping lead the campaign nationally. And then we also have state committees, we have regional committees, and we have our individual city and county committees. Up until now, we haven't had representation in Placer County. So one of the things that we're going to be working on moving forward from here today is coalition building and bringing together members of our community who want to stand up and be a part of a movement that is 100% forward together and not one step back, unapologetically willing to lift from the bottom so we can all rise. It's a beautiful thing already to see who's coming together for this. We have some amazing people that are already signed up to be a part of our committee. to move forward. And that's what we needed to move forward. So I'm grateful to announce today that we will be launching a Placer County Poor People's Campaign, and you'll be hearing a lot more about opportunities to get involved and some of our efforts that we're going to be doing locally. The other thing is it's already established in our community. There's amazing people doing amazing work. A lot of those people are going to be involved with the campaign, either directly, or we're going to be supporting and lifting up their work as well. One of the main things I think is important is bridging the gap everywhere we can. As Auburn Hip Hop Congress, we're proud to help with the youth engagement and kind of connection piece in that way. But so many people are doing so much work that you'll hear from today, regarding all the different issues and different things that are going on in our community. So with that, I encourage you guys to ask questions, to reach out, to get involved, and to look out for Placer County Poor People's Campaign and some of our efforts locally. I'm also going to put a couple links down here at the bottom so that you guys can follow some pages. We have the Sacramento Poor People's Campaign, which is facebook.com/SactoPPC. They're just doing some of the most amazing work. I'm grateful to be, a part of that and to help lift that up as well, and hopefully bring some of that to Placer County, especially their work with the homeless population. What they're doing is just amazing. They're not waiting. They're doing everything from legislative to on the ground work. And that's, I think, what we need to all be doing or thinking about how we can lift that up. Another initiative that I just want to share real quick, and I'll be on, is that we're going to be doing a series of video interviews and projects where we're going to be able to lift up the voices that are impacted the most. My goal really this year is to do everything I can to empower our community builders, our activists community, and those that are, struggling or hurting or trying to navigate through these systems and finding where the blocks are. We want to lift those stories up, and we want to be able to share that with our community and have these discussions so we can see system change, so that we can start working towards that and see solution-based, efforts. So with that, I'm excited to transition now back to our program. Thank you guys. And I'm going to put one more link up here for the national organization. Just so if you want to find out more, you can follow them online. And I encourage you guys to, see some of the things that they've written. It's one of the, best organized groups that I've seen, to date, as far as, connecting us across the nation, but also having resources and tangible, initiatives. So I encourage you guys to look at their 14 policy platform, the Jubilee platform, that will be what we focus on for the first 100 days of Biden being in office. And that's, to continue pushing for poor people to have, equal rights and to lift up those voices. All right, so I'm going to hand it back to Vanessa, and she's going to be introducing our keynote for the day. Thank you all. And
hello again. I just wanted to make a quick statement about the Poor People's Campaign. I personally have just recently learned about them, and I just love how inclusive they are. I think they really are bridging gaps that need to be bridged in this movement. So please do follow up on those links. And I am very pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, Law of Knowledge of Self-Production, or KOS. He is the author, lyricist, and narrator of Underdog Music. And Underdog Music presents Civil Rights or Human Rights, Strategy for 2021 and Beyond.
all right, we're live. Peace, Law. Welcome, bro.
Peace, planet Earth. Peace to the Congress. We are grateful for the invitation out. I want to give thanks to Rocky and Natalie and everybody for inviting us out. I'm live representative of Underdog Music. We're a local organization area, you know what I'm saying? First, students and curators of hip hop. Been a student in Zulu since 1990. Traveler. And
hey, Law.
We were invited today to talk on the dynamics of in 2021 in context of where do we go from here? The timeless question asked by, the Dr. Martin Luther King. So today, we're going to look at the dynamics of civil rights in 2021 as it relates to issues of race, class, and gender in the United States. I'm a student of sociology. I just completed my grad studies at the university, looking at race, class, and gender U.S. and what key to these programs.
Can you repeat that last sentence?
I've created a little PowerPoint just for the concepts in place. I think that we're at the next logical step in human evolution in terms of, as Rocky mentioned, legislation, laws, political and economic governmental structures. As human civilization and human consciousness evolves, society must and has to evolve with it, right? So I go over here to my PowerPoint. If you read me, the PowerPoint.
Can you hear me?
Response, at the PowerPoint install on that end. If not, I'm saying I'm prepared to just narrate this.
Okay, so
from my end without the use of the PowerPoint.
We're having some technical difficulties, Law. You're cutting in and out quite a bit. I'm not sure if there's a chance you can move closer to the internet router, or maybe
let me tell y'all like
I think it's because a lot of people are on watching.
I love. So there's a lot of like my head.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I realize
all these things that
that it's lagging, and sorry to talk over you, Law. I know there's a delay, so you'll hear me a little later, but it looks like your internet kicked you off as well. So I really want to get this figured out because I know this is going to be an amazing keynote, and I don't want to miss any of it. I'm going to see if Law sounds better right now. Let's do a mic check real quick, if we may. You were cutting out a lot.
1 2 1 2. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Is there any way you can move closer to the internet, or are you already?
Yeah, I'm about as close as I can get. Real quick, FYI, building from the Capitol, building. I live on 15th and N, right? So there's all types of helicopters overhead right now. Because they're expecting all of them unrest and these protests right outside my door. I live 15th and N, so to put that in context, I live diagonal from Capitol Park. So you know what I'm saying? There's all types of helicopters over my head as I'm speaking right now. Ironic on Dr. King Day, right? Ironic that they picked Dr. King Day, a day that is the emblem of civil rights, right? To pose their civil unrest. So forgive me for the technical interferences that I'm taking in. I know that might tend to happen, but let's just keep it moving. So what we're here to talk about today is civil rights, right, in 2021 as it relates to where we go from here. We've seen a lot of activity over the past year, starting in March with the quarantines and unrest with Black Lives Matter. And state and compare how January was handled. So let's just get right into the issue. What we saw being exercised on January 6th at the Capitol in DC was civil liberties. Class from July, August, Black Lives Matter with civil rights in work. So civil rights and civil liberties, legally speaking, are two different sets of amendments to the U.S. Constitution.
Hey, Law. Can you hear me?
Civil rights and 15th Amendment to the Constitution. Rocky, are you there? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, it's cutting out on some important parts. So one thing I'm wondering is, do you think you could try from your phone? We're lucky enough to be able to switch devices really quick, so maybe we could test that out, and I can just show your PowerPoint and your video from my computer.
Let me give it a shot. Let me give it a shot.
Okay, thank you, and thank you everybody for bearing with us. This is what we are dealing with in 2021, especially on days like today with, like Lakim was just starting to share with us, everything that's happening at the Capitals. So many people, tuning in for MLK today and all the different events happening. So our internet's going a little slow, and I think he's right, especially by the Capitol. It's very likely that there's a little bit of extra delays there because of that.
Figure it out. Should we do
So
a radio?
while we
station?
figure this out, Law, I was thinking about asking MC Radioactive, the hardcore MC, to join us and maybe go first, and then we can work out our technical side, and hopefully we can give you a strong start with good sound. Okay. Actually, let me make sure that's okay with radio.
Let Haley introduce radio.
All right. Oh, looks like
Let Haley introduce. Haley's introducing.
Hey, radio, you with us?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here. I'm going to pass it off to Haley, who's going to be introducing you today. I'm grateful to have you here with us and your flexibility, being able to jump in to help with our tech issues.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so up next, we have spoken word and hip hop musician, community activist, and creative soul MC Radio is the hardcore MC. I'm ready.
Yeah. Just tell me when to go.
You're good. We're on.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep.
Listen, y'all. I was gonna do something else, and then as we go on with this, my vibe felt the change. So we're gonna go like this. Some say life is but a dream. I say dream is but your life. You see, the dream that Martin Luther King, our king, spoke of is alive today in hip hop culture. Where else can we see the dream in its reality, where no matter what gender, religion, class, race, size, or ethnicity you are, when you jump into that cipher or that circle to break and pop and lock and move or to speak, you are judged off the content of your character. And we can hold each other's hands and walk along in this path. Awake. Now, as we are awake, we realize we're still in a dream. And our dreams come true. Our dreams do come true. And the pendulum swings. So as we go on to these days coming, we already know where our heart is in our souls. We know where our family is in our hearts. We know where our truth is in our family. It's a blessing to be here. This is how we're going to go. If you're at home, feel free to move. Listen, we're headed for the future, ain't no holding us back. Leaders up to no good. You see them on the screen and we know it's all an act. They ain't doing everything they could. They should take heed of the mistakes of the past. Let they break me up into race, sex, and class. Plus the clash erupting fast. They ain't saving nothing. Yo, hold close to your family and friends, the ones that have been through thick and thin. When things begin to feel like the end, you get knocked down, get up again and again. Is it them against us or is it us against them? This has been happening ever since ancient man. Then again, I thought we were civilized. An eye for an eye leaves the village blind. Don't burn it to the ground, man, we still inside. Set aside your differences so we can survive until a time ahead. Up and come and see the trumpet boy trumping in the demon girl, dreaming up something. It ain't nothing. We are here, there, everywhere. We shall forever be here, so there's nothing to fear except fear itself held up in the air. Peace, love, and unity. Y'all have it fun up in here. We're headed for the future. future ain't holding us back. Leaders up to no good. You see them on the screen and we know it's all an act. They ain't doing everything they could. They should take heed of the mistakes of the past. That they break, we up into race, sex, and class. A cluster clash, erupting fast. They ain't saving nothing. There's a civil war coming. There's a civil war coming. Coming. Come on in. Hold close to your vanity while vanity blends. Just dressing up to go out and hang with your friends. Trying to walk and talk and look like them. Socioeconomic opportunity from within. Living without or having nothing but doubt. Sometimes I want to scream. I feel like I need to shout. We gotta get it out. We all have our own ways of saying ouch. Stay on the couch or playing all night. All right, see my head is booming. It's the right music for the lights. Evolution. And this is not a black over white resolution. What is it? Know it, you lover. Revolution, people that in charge that are mostly corrupt. And same people that sucked when we were growing up. And knowing what I know now, it's not that much. It's that when I close my eyes, my mind opens up. So listen to your heart. Know that we keep moving to the top of the mountain. And we can see over that mountain. And what we see is the sun. We close our eyes. The dream ends? No, the dream has just begun. We say, oh, we are awoken. But if we are awoken, then we understand what's happening. We are open. We're headed for the future, ain't no holding us back. Leaders up to no good. You see them on the screen and we know it's all an act. They ain't doing everything they could. They should take heed of the mistakes of the past. That they break me up into race, sex, and class. A cluster clash, erupting fast. They ain't saving nothing. There's a civil war coming. There's a civil war coming. Come on in. Blessings, y'all. I want to give you a few words real quick. This is from the I Have a Dream, Martin Luther King Jr. book. This is called We Are on the Move. We are on the move now. The burning of our churches will not deter us. We are on the move now. The bombing of our homes will not dissuade us. We are on the move now. The beating and the killing of our clergymen and young people will not divert us. We are on the move now. The arrest and release of known murderers will not discourage us. We are on the move now. Like the Adea whose time has come, not even the marching of mighty armies can halt us. We are on the move now. We are moving to the land of freedom. Like an idea whose time has come, we are moving to the land of freedom. Let us therefore continue our triumph and march to realization of the American dream. Let us march on segregated housing until every ghetto of the social and economic depression dissolves. Negroes and whites live side by side in decent, safe, and sanitary housing. We are on the move now. Let us march on segregated schools until every vestige of the segregated and inferior education becomes a thing of the past. And blacks and whites study side by side in social healing context of the classroom. We are on the move now. Let us march on poverty until no American parent has to skip a meal so their children may march on poverty, until no starved man on the street of our cities and towns in search of jobs that do not exist. We are on the move now. Let us march on the ballot boxes until race baiters despair. We are on the move now. The race baiters shall disappear from the political arena. Let us march on the ballot boxes until the Wallaces of our nation tremble away in silence. We are on the move now. For all of us today, the battle is in our hands. The road ahead is not altogether a smooth one. There are no broad highways to lead us easily and inevitably to quick solutions. The road is rough, but we must keep going. We are on the move now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Radio. Love you, brother.
I love you.
Appreciate it. That was powerful.
Blessings.
Bless.
Okay.
Yes, that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. And I think we got our technical side worked out. We're gonna test it out right now. Law, you with us?
I'm there. You hear me?
Yes, yes. Oh
It's
yeah,
good.
that's a lot better.
All right, bet.
Yeah.
Let's get it while the
Are you
getting
on your
good.
computer or
And
phone?
Rocky,
Yes.
was saying, as you guys are like, these I can hear the copters over here. I've been hearing this since like 5 a.m. just because of where I live, but it's also symbolic to where we at, you know what I mean? The fact on because they are, out there. I got okay, we got Humvees with like the guns on top right now, like right outside my door. They've been out there for probably about 3 or 4 days. So, this is live stream footage, you know what I'm saying, of where we are, you know what I'm saying, in 2021. You know what I'm saying? So, in looking at that, the question becomes, where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing about that is that's a cyclical question because, King posed this question, amongst his development of the poor people campaign, 1965, coming up on, the emphasis of why I opposed the Vietnam War speech. Rocky, can I get the next slide, please? Are you controlling that, or is that one coming up on my side here?
That's you controlling it still if you're on your computer.
Just a real
I was
quick
thinking,
inference. Now, is that
if you turn off your camera,
is what's on display? Is that playing that my side?
could you try turning off your camera while you're doing the PowerPoint, and maybe that'll help.
Is that your link or my link?
That's your link.
All right, bet. Listen, no problem.
Are you there, La?
Drafted and put out internationally by the United Nations in 1948. And, the goal of this exercise is to look at, a question again 55 years later. It's civil rights, meeting the needs of people in the United States of America, that these issues are intersectional and are based on who you are and what you are, right? But by 2021, this earmark in time, we see that roughly 49% of U.S. American citizens, regardless of their race, class, or gender, are facing some form of systemic social inequity. While it's most largely an economic inequity that the vast majority of us are facing, in essence, they are intersectional. So moving forward, what we have here is a breakdown of the civil rights amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Okay. The 13th Amendment basically says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime of law, shall have somebody held in slavery. So, when we look at that in layman's terms, what is this actually saying? When we talk about civil rights, we're basically talking about the 13th, the 14th, and 15th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. And what you see before you are basically what are the granted privileges inscribed in the 13th, 14th, and 15th amendments to the U.S. there is that the 13th Amendment abolished slavery unless somebody is found guilty of a crime punishable by law. So then when we look at the correlation of the disproportionate of numbers of melanated people is the term I like to use. The term more politically and socially and culturally used is black and brown people that disproportionately occupy the prison industrial complex in America. I think it goes to speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? This 13th Amendment as an abolition of slavery in the United States was just merely a loophole, a merely conversion from chattel property into corporate property under the prison industrial complex in America that's both privatized and federal. So we're going to go on because this is basically what civil rights are. The 13th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, in many cases, many scholars, legal and political and economic scholars argue that the 14th Amendment doesn't technically really speak to the rights of those that were former slaves or of a darker hue. The 15th Amendment is just merely the right to vote in the U.S. Constitution. Now, mind you, these amendments to the Constitution have to be re-signed every 25 years and every 10 years. So, we're going to move on to the next point of discussion, which is human rights. Now, what you see on the screen before you here are the human rights as inscribed and chartered by the United Nations in 1948. And it says, whereas recognitions of the inherent dignity of the equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. Where disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which outrage the conscience of man, the advent of a world which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief, freedom from fear and want has been proclaimed at the highest aspect of common people. And it says at the last line that human rights should be protected by the time frame. Human rights was chartered by the UN in 1948 at the end of World War II, when the human population of the planet Earth came to see the undeniable travesties that war bring upon the human family, whether they be white, whether they be black, whether it's Europe, whether it's Africa, whether it's the United States or Latin America. It was undeniable by World War II that war was something that humanity should just avoid, right? So now that we've looked at the human rights in terms of what it is in comparison to civil rights, we have to take into concept how many people and in the context, just exactly how many people live on the planet. Has anybody ever really stopped, and inquired that information? I did it as an academic exercise. And, to date, the current world population on planet Earth is 7.8 billion people as of January 2021, according to the most recent United Nations estimates. So when we take it into consideration, it rounds to about 8 billion people, right? It's probably about 8 billion people because everybody doesn't get counted by the census, planetarily speaking. Taking this into consideration, the number of people that populate the Earth at one time, the potential for conflict around things like food, clothing, and shelter, and this kind of thing, it becomes a little easier to put into perspective, right? However, naturally speaking, environmentally speaking, so when I say naturally speaking, I'm referring to the environment. Theories such as intelligent design suggest the environment produces enough material that's basically food, clothing, and shelter. So the materials that the environment produces become our food, our clothing, our shelter, our gold, our diamonds, our gas, right? Our plastic. Everything we get from the environment. The environment basically produces enough material to sustain every human being and every equality. Because in the Mother Earth, humans are all roughly the same size around the world, right? You don't have 4-foot human beings and 12-foot human beings. We hear of Greek myths and myths of giants and midgets and this kind of thing. We've all seen, the Lord of the Rings saga, right? But in just world as we know it, right, according to general understanding, information. Human beings are all roughly the same size. And this is being pointed out as intelligent design, that by nature, there's enough food, clothing, and shelter for everybody. So again, why all the inequality? So when we look at each other as human beings first, rather than as a racial identity first, or as a rich or a poor person first by our class status, right? Or as a gay or a straight person, or as a black or a white person. When we see our humanity first, that we're human beings, what are similar about us as human beings, not as black human beings and white human beings and so on. It's our humanity. It's our human need. Our human needs are our food, our clothing, our shelter, right? Family, friendship, community, our purpose in the world, freedom, the freedom to live, to have liberty and pursue happiness, right? Our differences are all socially constructed, y'all. Ideas like what race we are, what class we're in, what caste we're in, what gender we are, what sexual preference we have. These are all categories and labels that are socially constructed so that the power structure can maintain, track, and control the dominant population. And the U.S. Census, bears witness to this on their website if you'd like to inquire right now for yourself. But the common denominator, right, where the human population on planet Earth is concerned, of whether it's a race issue, a class issue, a gender issue, a caste issue, right? A lot of you might or might not be familiar with the word caste there at the top in the blue bubble. What is caste? So caste is like more commonly known about in East India, where people are living under caste systems of dots, often indicate what caste they're in, a white dot or a red dot or a brown dot or a black dot. West, that this system in America is a caste system. Can one financially or politically maneuver out of their ascribed social, cultural, geopolitical status? Well, a lot of these ideas are framed within the concept of civil rights. However, where human rights are concerned, these rights are inalienable, right? According to what the preamble of the UN says, the Universal Declaration promises to all is all human beings, the economic, social, political, cultural, and civic rights that underpin a life free from want and fear. So remember, we're looking at the difference between civil rights and human rights. Because when we're talking about social movements and strategies in 2021, whether it's the LGBTQ or Black Lives Matter or the 99% and the 1%, whether it's a race, class, gender issue, human rights encompasses more headway for what we understand as human equity than civil rights, technically speaking, provides as framework within the U.S. Constitution. Legally, politically, and economically, the preambles of human rights from the UN continued. They are not a reward for good behavior. They are not country specific or particular to a certain era or social group. Continued. They are all the inalienable entitlements of all people at all times and in all places. This equals people of every color, from every race and ethnic group, whether or not they are disabled. So this points out that at some point, people who were disabled were having their rights violated, and this became a question for them. Wheelchair, right? These are questions that we all have to come to start asking ourselves. Do I have the right to vote because I'm a human being? Or do I have the right to vote because of some skin color idea that was created out of the advent of European colonialism, expansion, conquest, and slavery? of
Can't hear anything right now, Law.
human blaring anxiety around the world at that for people to move in order to address the inequities that they're facing on a systemic level. And this is what the Poor People's Campaign has resurrected in this day and time out of and as a result of is that many of the what we simply classify as racist, classist, patriarchal issues that people face, they often face on a more systemic level than even an individual level from day to day. And that's the bigger problem, that racism and patriarchy and classism exist on a policy level. They exist on a governmental level. They exist on a constitutional level. Both national and state level policies encompass racism, classism, and patriarchy. So we're going to look at the history of human rights, because this is actually not a new argument. Unbeknownst to many, while we're celebrating Dr. King today, I listened to his Why I Oppose the Vietnam War speech before I was with you all collectively this morning. And in hearing him point out the triple evils, of racism, capitalism, and militarism, it put back into perspective, the man that you see on the left of the screen, Malcolm X, in his speech in 1964, known as the Ballot or the Bullet, when, he posed the question, we need to move to a level of human rights. And this is a quotation from that exact speech. Malcolm, in his words, we need to expand the civil rights struggle to a higher level of human rights. Whenever you are in a civil rights struggle, whether you know it or not, you are confining yourself to the jurisdiction of Uncle Sam. No one from the outside world can speak out in your behalf as long as your struggle is a civil rights struggle. Civil rights comes within the domestic affairs of this country. Malcolm X in 1964. So to put this into context, human rights and its recognition of being the next logical step, where issues that were being dealt with as civil rights issues, that this is what time code is. He said this 55 years ago. And, the other people that we see here in the picture, that's Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, founders of the Black Panther Party. Unbeknownst to many, just like Malcolm, they were heavy and high proponents of human rights themselves. In a publication that came out in 2016, a historian by the name of Meredith Roman pointed out in her work that the, quote, Black Panther Party conceived of the African American liberation struggle as a struggle for human rights. And in seeing phraseologies such as seen on the right with, that's the great Angela Davis in the center of all power to all the people, became the slogan by the development of the third world movement, when colonialism came to be seen as the overarching theme in those triple evils that Dr. King was referring to. Okay. Hip hop, being that this is, after all, a hip hop platform, hip hop has always been a proponent of human rights. Who you see before you on the screen are known as the Trinity Godfathers, the founders of hip hop. To your left is DJ Kool Herc at what is known as the birthplace of hip hop in Bronx, New York, 1520 Sedgwick Ave. All right, the Bronx River houses. In the middle, that is Grandmaster Flash. Grandmaster Flash was symbiotic in the transformation of the human rights message through the Black Power movement into hip hop in the groundbreaking song known as The Message, narrated by Melly Mel and partly written by Duke Booty, who just passed away a couple days ago. Rest in peace. This is your hip hop history. This is your hip hop heritage. And the man on the right is the one known as the great Africa Bambaataa himself, founder of the Universal Zulu Nation. Can't stop us. Hip hop, which was an evolution of Rastafarianism and the Black Power movement and civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s, through the forming and foundation of the Zulu Nation. We can see here in Universal Zulu Nation bylaw and belief number 12, believe in justice for all, whether in the name of God or not. So here we see the human conscious and evolution by the late 70s, to put it in a time frame, evolved to a place where we were understanding that people deserve equity, love, peace, and happiness, whether they come in the name of God or not, whether they're white or black, whether they're gay or straight, whether they're man or woman, whether they're Christian, Jew, or Muslim. Just by mere volition of being a human, we believe as others that we are due equal justice merely based on the fact that we are human beings. So strategies for 2021 and beyond. It's kind of a tongue twister right now. When we look at the inequalities that we face, which we most commonly know as issues of race, issues of class, and issues of gender, not only, but generally speaking, they all have a common denominator, which is what? Human rights, not civil rights. Because civil rights addresses race, class, and gender as three separate entities, and it doesn't recognize their intersectional nature, whereas human rights does. Strategies for 2021 and beyond continued. So now that we've looked at some of the problem, which is, the inherent built-in failure in the constitutional framework where civil rights is concerned, and the U.S. Constitution's intentional lack of recognition to human rights as a concept. What do we do? What is the solution, right? We can look at the problem all day. We can harp on the problem all day. You know what I'm saying? But what is the solution to a problem? You know what I mean? Like, hip hop is its essential spirit is to hustle, is to take lemons and make lemonade. You know what I mean? That's another way of saying finding a solution to a problem. You know what I mean? So being Zulu since 93 and so on, you know what I mean? We all about finding solutions to our problems, because that's self-determination, which is in essence the nature of human rights at work for every man, woman, and child in existence. Using facts to challenge and debunk fiction. Polygenism has no scientific, genetic, or biological evidence. What is polygenism? It's what we call race. The concepts of Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid races is mythical. There is no genetic or scientific or biological or scientific evidence or anthropological evidence that supports that there are various races on the planet, aka polygenism. There is only one race of people. There is the human race. Recognizing people as human rather than by their racial, religious, or political classification is a much more unifying method of bringing people together under commonalities than trying to unify under differences or what have you, when after all, these differences are primarily socially constructed for the purpose of divide and control by the power structure. Strategies for 2021 and beyond continue. Revision history. Document and tell an inclusive version of history that records human civilization as it evolved out of its cradle. And as a result, every nation, empire, tribe, village, clan, what have you, their story will be told, included, and equally observed. And what comes out in that data, y'all, is that humans are more similar than they're different. Whether it's Africans or Europeans or people on the continent known as America, humans at our basic intrinsic base have more similarities and characteristics in how we exist and coexist than we're different. And this is our unifying factor, our similarities. So in closing, hashtag better united than divided is the policy, is the motto, it's the hashtag. There is only one race, the human race. Our understanding of ourselves and others has been divided and socially reconstructed into ideas like race, class, and gender, which isolate us from one another. In reality, we, human beings, the people, have more similarities than we have differences. We all have family, friends, people, and places we care about. Our similarities tie us together more than our differences do. When we recognize our similarities, then we can appreciate our differences. So in 2021, humanity has come to a fork in the road with only one way to choose. Either living together like family or dying together like fools. There's underdog music. If you feel overworked and underappreciated, if you feel that you are facing any form of inequity, if you feel like life has dealt you an unfair deal that is beyond your control, you an underdog, and this music is for you. I thank you for your time. Auburn Hip Hop Congress, I thank you for your invitation. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties that are beyond my control, yet are very symbolic to the day that we celebrate here in memory of our honorable Dr. Martin Luther King, who I will use his phrase to encase the idea of humanity. It is important to judge a person not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And the sooner that we get closer to these types of ideals, I think that we'll find ourselves branching and inching closer to what we understand as peace on planet Earth for ourselves and everyone around us. Thank you for that time. Rocky, you there?
Yes, yes. Amazing talk. Thank you, La. That was very powerful, very informative. You got a lot of comments here coming in. I'll put a couple up here for you. We'll play your video really shortly. Do you want to give a quick?
Yeah. If we have time, if there's time. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hip hop don't stop. Zulu, go ahead. It's like,
go ahead.
Me jumping in MP mode now. Like, hip hop don't stop. Hey, yo, MF Doom, rest in peace. Rest in peace to the late great MF Doom. May he rest in peace. Hip hop don't stop, baby. You know what I mean? The great guru, Gangstar, may he rest in peace. We are standing on the shoulders of everybody that came before us. You know what I mean? So this video that's coming here, you know what I'm saying, is semblant to the times. You know what I'm saying? And the question posed in the video on the visuals that you'll see and on the questions that you're asked is who got the props? You know what I'm saying? Is it the cops? Is it the kids on the blocks? Is it the power structure? Is it the people? Who exactly got the props? So without further ado, Rocky, Auburn Hip Hop Congress, I love you. I thank you. We are better united and divided, each and everybody.
Bless.
Underdog Music 713, Auburn Hip Hop Congress. Peace.
Go. All right.
Reminds me of that Black Star record where they was talking about people understanding the full criteria of things. And that BDP ghetto music, that part where he said, you was put here to protect us, but who protects us from you? Human rights violations all in the mix. Got the people ready to react to this. Got the police ready to react to clips. Got these streets full of interesting 50 years of civil rights on the wrist. Come anybody to the law and arrest because of race. Because not what? Because not kids. 3 generations, my generation living in this shit. Blaming all this education, all this education. Talking together, self-determination, segregation, that's the 7. And a breaking the darker and the more populations. We never came for catch, call it, make it. Prison system, make it. Industry, breaking it a million. Somebody gotta get the cost. Why not the chill? Niggas keep sharing, they lost up in that system. This is a multi-million-dollar corporation with built-in tax initiatives for every patron. Now let's talk about systemic problems facing several generations of masses demonstrating. Gangs on top, this is a daily operation. NWA should tell them to their face, man. Tupac recognizing no changes. 18 years later, facing them same dangers. But who got the prize? Who got the glides? Who got the blinds? Who shot the cops? 99 armored through the yellow. He got shot by 4 NYPD officers. Acquitted Charles Rock. 2006, Sean Bell. He got shot by 3 NYPD officers. Acquitted Charles Rock. 2009, Oscar Grant. He got shot by an officer that spent 2 years on manslaughter charges. 2014, I can't breathe. But the last was spoke by Ever Garner in a show. 2014 again. He got shot, gunned down by an officer unarmed Mike Brown. 2015, he got shot in Charleston, Carolina. Y'all know about Walter Scott. 2014, Laquan got shot. Instead of being taken to rehabilitation. By 2018, who got shot? How many people gotta die at the hands of a cop? What? Who got the props? What? Who got the glocks? What? Who got the blocks? Who shot the cops?
Yes, powerful. Leave a comment below if you didn't already. Let us know what you thought of that presentation. That was just amazing. I learned a lot. Thank you, Law. Appreciate you taking the time today to share that presentation with us. And I hope that I saw the comments already. So many people taking inspiration and knowledge away. Thank you again. So I do need to move along quickly. So I'm going to transition as quick as I can. I know I'm a talker, but I'm excited to introduce our next guest to you all. He is a local organizer, a pastor, and just an amazing human being that I look to and look up to very much, especially in organizing and getting things done in the community for, especially in the areas that it's needed most. He is also one of the leading members with I and a few others of this Rising Poor People's Campaign in Placer, and I'm excited to introduce him to you all. So Pastor Casey, you there?
Hello. So glad to be with you. My goodness, Law, I'm just so moved by your presentation today, Law. Thank you so much for that, Rocky. It's always good to be with you. My name is Pastor Casey Tinnen. I am the pastor of Loomis Basin Congregational Church, United Church of Christ. I am the president of Prism Q, which is Placer County's attempt at a pride center, or we're working towards that. And I am the founder of The Landing Spot. The Landing Spot is a support group for LGBT teenagers and their adult caregivers in Placer County. We have a monthly meeting. We meet every third Monday. So there's a meeting tonight. And so we hope that if you know any LGBT teenagers or adult caregivers who could use a resource, we are here for you. I know that next month our speaker will be speaking on Between Two Binaries, a journey of living as their authentic self, Wendell Lamb. So that'll be February 15th from 5:30 to 7. We'll be sure to put some links below. When Rocky asked me to speak today, he asked me to sort of speak about something that I've been talking about a lot recently on social media, and that is the colonization of Christianity and the influence that whiteness has had in our religious tradition as Christians, and my concern with that. Many of you know the letter from Birmingham. It's a very famous letter that Dr. King wrote. And that letter, maybe you know or maybe you don't, was written in response to white moderate Christians who were basically telling Dr. King to go home, that justice might come, but it might come later, and just to be patient. And so that's where we get some of those famous phrases from Dr. King around, justice has no time. Just time is on the side of the oppressor. And so, and there's another quote that I love from his writing where he says, "We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed." And I just want to sort of leave that there for a moment, hold on to that as we begin to kind of walk down this road as I'm thinking about Jesus the radical, Jesus that I follow, one who spent 3 years on the hillside of Galilee, spending time with humans, as Law was talking about, humans who had a variety of different experiences, but were all experiencing oppression, that being political and religious. And so Jesus, seeing all of the oppression around him, so moved by the injustice that he decided to take his message to Jerusalem. And what does Jesus do but shut down streets, turn tables, and call some people out, honey? That's what you do in moments like this. And Jesus pays ultimately the ultimate price. And for 400 years, in those first 400 years of Christianity, there were lots of stories about who Jesus was, and Jesus, this radical who was standing up for the poor, who was seeking justice, who was proclaiming this day of jubilee, or this vision of God that all people might live into, that was outside of occupation, which was outside of oppressive religious institutions. You will not worship here, you will not worship there, you will worship in spirit and truth, because we are one human family. But, this is just a little church history. 400 years after Christianity is formed, it becomes the religion of a nation. And from that moment on, I believe Christianity shifts into an occupying, colonizing tradition. And we see throughout the world what colonization did. And as colonization came, it brought Christianity, and it oppressed lots of people. And I think that it's really important to name that. And I think in these times, as we continue to see, as we were talking about last week on our Capitol steps, there were as many Jesus flags being waved as there were Confederate flags. And when I saw that, I was really moved to begin to talk about the importance of dismantling whiteness and white supremacy in our churches, because it exists. And it is time for us to begin to confront in our own community, where we see large institutions, large churches who sort of are safe grounds for whiteness and white supremacy in our community. We have to be bold enough to confront it and to talk about it. I want to offer you a few authors: James Cone, Gustavo Gutierrez, and Renita Weems, all people who have worked towards creating a liberation theology that says that this movement of Jesus is still a radical one, where we welcome all people, where all people have a right to live and thrive in the world. Dr. King was a Christian pastor, and I resonate so deeply with his call for justice and the sense of confronting other clergy who stand idly by in the midst of racism and oppression. So what can you do, beloved friends, other than, read James Cone and others? I would invite you to, first of all, reach out to your own religious leaders, your own pastors, and ask them what they are doing to talk about racism and how they are seeking to dismantle white supremacy in their church. Racism and capitalism and patriarchy are deeply related. And so those all play a huge part. And so ask your clergy people, what are you doing to confront racism in our community? What are you doing to stand against homophobia in our community? And if their answers are not good ones, I would invite you to do something about it. We are all a part of this human family, and we are all responsible to the work of justice, this arc of justice that Dr. King talked about, this arc of justice that I believe Jesus talked about. We are all responsible for that work. And so whatever part you can play, whether that being confronting religious leaders, whether that means marching in the streets, protesting, which I have been doing with many of you, we all play a role in this movement. The other thing I would also want to say to you is do not let hate and anger consume you. Dr. King reminds us that hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that, beloved friends. And I think that These are times where the world needs more love than violence. And I think that's it. And in our loving and in our willingness to seek justice and build this arc together, that is where we win. And so I just want to let you know that there are progressive Christian churches in our community in Placer County who are doing the work, who are willing to work alongside of you. And I think that it is an important time, as Law was saying. This is an important moment, and we cannot miss it. And so please, in all the ways you can, continue to carry on this good work of Dr. King and so many others, Malcolm X, and Jesus himself. We are a part of this arc of justice together, and we have work to do, especially in the Christian tradition.
Yeah. Amen, Casey. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being with us today. And those words are so powerful. I don't know if you saw some of the comments, but be sure to go back through. It meant a lot for people of the church to be able to hear that, I believe. And
thank you, Rocky. Yeah, I think I just want to say one more thing. When I say it's all of our work, I really mean that. And I think that, I grew up in a religious tradition that talked about, being, that we had to live a certain way. We had to be a certain way in the world. And I think that now is a time to really put our faith into action. It is now time. And so if any of you who are sort of staying in churches because you like their music, if that's the only thing keeping you there, I would invite you to begin to wonder about what's keeping you there. Other than that, and are you willing to stay only because you like their music? We have a message to preach, a message to preach of good news and liberation for the poor and the oppressed. And if that message is not the message that you're hearing from your pulpit, then find a new place to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Love you.
Love you.
Right. So I'm going to keep it moving. Before I do, I just do want to give a quick shout out. One to Casey. That takes so much courage in our community, and he's been a face and a voice of this for a while now, and since I've known him, and I can't tell you how much I've appreciated what he's represented in our community and in the churches that we've gotten to partner with and work with on different things. So thank you again, Casey. And then I also want to, I know I mentioned Millie Livingston earlier and gave her thanks for starting this 36 years ago. I want to drive that home again and thank you again, Millie. This is just beautiful, and it's amazing to see the march continue and all the people that continue to come together because of something that you helped start so long ago. And I also want to acknowledge Leslie Janusz, who has been organizing alongside Millie, making this possible for so long and help bring us into this, and as well as Peace Camp. But I'm going to jump off now. I just wanted to send some love for those that helped start this event and encourage everybody to get involved and help carry this forward. Next year, we're marching.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Before I jump into my next introduction, I just want to say a piece. I think I'm just so humbled at the people that have been a part of this event. Law, that was just a phenomenal tribute to revolutionaries and an educational thing. It was very powerful. Thank you so much. And Casey as well, I just want to say what you're doing is so important. I know so many people in the religious community need someone like you. So thank you for that as well. I'm going to move forward to introduce my mom, Natalie. She gave me a little bio, and I think I'm going to have to steer clear of it because I have a lot more to say than her one sentence about herself. I think she has spent her entire life, or as long as I've known her, which is, pretty long time, just really striving to make the world a better place in so many different ways and in so many different aspects, teaching me as a young woman of color about my history and not letting that be something that fell through the cracks, which created me who I am today, which is just really powerful. I mean, and she's just been teaching the youth from day one, Make a Difference camp, a 5-week-long camp that I will always remember, which is crazy if anybody works with kids, doing a 5-week-long camp just about caring about the planet and the people and everything. So she's really dedicated her life to making the world a better place. And now she's dedicating her life to making my sister have a valuable education. And so I want to go on, and she's going to share a project that she has created with her high school students and growing peace campers from the past. So here we go. Do I need to click this, or are you going to pull? Oh, you're coming up. You're going to talk. I love you.
Love you too.
I'm going to
Welcome,
get
everyone.
We're going to introduce the video. Go ahead. The video. Put it on.
Okay. Natalie's wants us to start with the video. We have a very special treat for you guys that I was working on very late last night, and grateful for how it came out. I hope you guys love it. You'll see a lot of familiar faces from our camp and from the community.
Are you sharing it?
Just a moment. So Chrome. Here we go. I sound all cheesy.
Go back.
Hi, it's Natalie with Auburn Hip Hop Congress and Academy of Law, which is a school of business, leadership, arts, and humanities. Today, I'd like to introduce to you some of the young people I get the opportunity to work with in a high school setting and also at Growing Peace Camp. They're going to share with you their dreams for the world. Enjoy!
My dream is for people to treat other people how they wanted to be treated. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could live in a world where people are more kind?
I have a dream that equality will be available to all people, regardless if you are gay, regardless of your gender, or if you have a different race than somebody. Because Martin Luther King, the main thing that he focused on was equality and love for all people. So I think that you should have equal opportunity, and there shouldn't be any discrimination, regardless of who you are.
I have a dream that people of all race created a society where the world wasn't corrupt and everyone is treated equally. A community where everyone is family to each other.
I have a dream that we can all step into love and will be more mentally healthy with more equal rights.
One of my dreams for the world is that we can all hold ourselves accountable for our mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and be able to create a better future with that knowledge.
My dream is just plain and simple. I just want people to get along.
I have a dream that in the future there will be equality for all, a better education system for students, and we will start taking care of Mother Nature.
Hi, my name's McKenna, and my dream is that one day we will all be equal and that no one will feel superior to anyone else. My dream is that people will humble themselves and try to be open-minded and kind to others.
My dream is for everyone to be treated equally. It doesn't matter what color you are. Treat people the same way that you want them to treat you. My sister is Black and gay, and I think it's weird that anybody cares. I love you, Haley.
I have a dream. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once boycotted against racism, and he showed all of us and all people, minority groups, what you are, that you can have power. You can have power. You can protest. You can fight things. You can fix things that you believe are wrong in the world if you have the right mindset. Most people didn't know this, but global warming and COVID-19 are serious issues that are happening in the world. The administration is denying them both, letting our planet die and letting millions of people suffer and not acknowledging it and saying that it is not that bad. When in truth, millions of people are dying of this virus and we are all shut in and we are not able to do anything. Thousands and thousands of polar bears are dying of the ice caps. They are melting. The world is going to be flooded in about 10 to 20 years or so. And they are denying this issue. And we have all the resources we have. We can fix this issue and save the world. And I have a dream with our voices, we can shout to the government and shout to the administration that so eventually they will realize that these issues are solvable and they are important. So they can put their resources and their funds into saving the world from COVID and of global warming. Thank you.
I have a dream that everybody deserves equal rights.
I have a dream where everybody has equality.
I have a dream that nobody gets hurt and only gives love.
I'm Aurora, and my dream for the world is to let everyone be together again.
Hi, my name's Zeke. My dream is that everybody will be in peace and harmony together. Bye.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed that. It was really fun to put together. And shout out to Rocky, who was up all night video editing and making this happen. We did a lot of this from our house on StreamYard, which is a really kind of cool technology to be able to record like that. So I just wanted to say that working with young people in our community is my commitment to making it a better place to be. Every year we give attendees an opportunity to give back at our Martin Luther King celebration, and all the proceeds go to Growing Peace Camp, as well as our next MLK event. And so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Growing Peace Camp. Growing Peace Camp, sorry, I'm reading, I'm really nervous on camera, but Growing Peace Camp teaches concepts of peace in action to youth of all ages. We create a beautiful, harmonious community for a week with the hopes that the young people will take what they learn at Peace Camp into the world. So the different concepts and the sharing together, trying new things, they'll take those attitudes into the world and hopefully, make our communities better places to be, and the world a better place to be at large. Peace Camp is a very popular camp. Even though we did it online this year, we still had quite an attendance. And in person, we have ridiculous amounts, like 170 kids at our last in-person Peace Camp. So basically, we turn no child away due to inability to pay. I don't stress parents. I say, what can you pay? $0, $5, $20, and people's contributions make that possible. And we always raise the funds we need and have an amazing camp. And so just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to give if you are able. And I think that's about it. Thank you so much for being here. This event, I'm pretty proud of it. It's the first time we've ever done something like this online other than Peace Camp. And I think it's going good so far. So anyway, thank you. Peace. Your turn.
All right, everyone. Wow.
You're great.
have to let everybody know.
Your sound is a little strained again. Can you say a few words?
Yes. I was wanting to say how wonderful this has all been. I'm seriously just, my heart is so happy right now. And so I'm actually speaking of my heart being happy. The next people that I'm introducing is actually Patricia Lethbridge and Taylor Frank. But Patricia Lethbridge was actually a very memorable teacher of mine, so this is really great that I get to do this intro. Patricia and Taylor have been doing music in the Auburn area for decades. With recent events, they felt more and more amazing grace is needed in this world. In the words of Martin Luther King, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. May 2021 bring more love and light and amazing grace. And this is them with their song, the president saying, Amazing Grace.
A young man came to a house of prayer. They did not ask what brought him there. He was not friend, he was not kin. But they opened the doors and they let him in. And for an hour the stranger stayed. He sat with them and he seemed to pray. But then the young man drew a gun and he killed 9 people, old and young. In Charleston in the month of June, the mourners gathered in a room. The president came to speak some words. The cameras rolled and the nation heard. But no words can say what must be said. For all the living and the dead, on that day and in that place, the president sang Amazing Grace.
If you can find that grace, anything is possible.
The president sang Amazing Grace.
If we can tap that grace, everything can change.
We argued where to lay the blame, on one man's hate or our nation's shame. Sickness of the mind or soul, and how these wounds might be made whole.
Amazing grace.
But no words can say what must be said, for all the living and the dead. So on that day and in that place, the president sang Amazing Grace. My president sang Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was
There we go. Unmuted.
Okay. Oh, hi, I'm back. So at the end of Martin Luther King Day every year, we all get super inspired. Some of us look to find a way to express that inspiration and do some good work in the community, and some are doing that good work all year round right here in our very own community. And so we really like to highlight the work that's going on right now and the leaders that are making it happen. And so if any of you want to get involved, volunteer, donate, whatever it is, there's a lot of good work going on. And I know a lot of times we say, oh, so this was fun, but what are we going to do next? Well, there's tons of stuff going on. And so we're going to introduce to you the community leaders that are doing things right here in our very own community. I consider them to be community philanthropists, because you don't only have to give money. Your time and your dedication of your life are also so valuable and good ways to help out. And so we're actually going to start. Oh, also, if you want to reach out to any of these people, of course, we have the connections. Write their names down. You can reach out to us and we'll connect you. So we're supposed to do our Auburn Hip Hop Congress update first. And I'm going to keep it pretty brief because we've been kind of showing you what we do. We have Peace Camp. We have a writing class. We do a lot of our programs. We're still doing a lot of our programs. We're still in the juvenile hall. We're still doing writing class. We're still doing Growing Peace Camp. We've had to obviously adapt due to COVID. So most of those programs are online now, such as this event as well. The one thing that we do in person is the Academy of Law, which is business, leadership, arts and humanities, and it's a little high school that I run with about 9 kids. And you guys can talk to us about that more. Rocky's starting a Poor People's campaign here in the area with some of the speakers that you've seen today. Reach out to us if you want to know more. But without further ado, I'm going to ask Haley to come on to the picture to introduce our next.
All right, everyone. I just want to talk a little bit to make sure my mic catches up with me. So up we have Danielle Zimmerman, who is involved with PFLAG, Prism Q, and the landing spot. So I'm going to go ahead and switch gears over to Daniela.
I'm going to go ahead and echo you, Kaylee, just this time, just so that the announcement comes through because it was a little blocked. Do you want to say one more time if I can hear you? If not, I'll say it.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, absolutely. Okay, so up right now we have Daniela Zimmerman, who is involved in PFLAG, Prism Q, and the landing spot. And I'll go ahead and switch gears to her.
Hey, hi everybody. I am honored to work with Casey Tinnen and support his work in the landing spot. This actually, we do have a meeting this evening. Casey didn't mention that. And our speaker is Johnny Cherry, who is a professor and founder of the LGBTQ Studies program at Sierra College. So you can follow us on Instagram. That's Landing Spot on Instagram or Facebook. There's also a private Facebook page for parents, caregivers, and LGBTQ youth in Placer County. I'm also on the board of Prism Q. And as Casey mentioned, we're working to establish a resource center here in Placer County for LGBTQ community and allies. And I'm also on the board of PFLAG. And PFLAG is a national organization with a local chapter. We meet the second Monday of each month and currently on Zoom, of course. Our speaker in February is going to be, let's see, I'm very excited about her. Her name is Charmaine Fury. She's owner of a Black-owned comic book and graphic novel store, which carries titles such as Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer, and Superman versus the Klan. I'm very excited to hear from her. And I also wanted to share that I had the opportunity to participate in a webinar yesterday put on by the editors of the Trans Black Prayer Book. And it was a fascinating dive into the history of the trans community in pre-colonial societies, in particular in Africa, the Americas, and Asia. And there are opportunities to educate yourself out there, and I'm always trying to learn more as an educator and as an ally. I've shared my contact information for Rocky to put up for everybody, and please reach out if you'd like to get involved, if you need resources. I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Daniela. Appreciate all the work you do. And Daniela has also been a part of the MLK celebration every year, as your mother is Leslie.
Yes.
So
some people
full
don't know
circle, big
my mom.
community, big fan.
Thank you so much, Rocky, and all the presenters. This has been fabulous.
And we'll bring Vanessa to the screen. All right. Hi, Vanessa. So Vanessa, the next one is a clip of 3. It's pre-recorded, but you can introduce the first speaker.
Or the first.
Oh, okay. What's the first 3? Oh,
Damien,
okay.
Alma,
Well,
Damien,
I'm
Alma,
just
and
going to go
Christian.
with my notes. Okay, so next up we have Damian Saunders, and he started Allies of Black Lives Matter Placer County, and they have been very active recently with a lot of protests and some drives. So here's their video. Maybe. I have a really cool shirt on.
Hi, Damien with Allies for Black Lives Placer County. We're an organization that started right after the George Floyd murder. That's kind of when I went to my first protest and noticed there was a lack of Black individuals at the protest. So I was like, I got to get involved. I live out in this community. So that's how I got involved. From there, started as a few smaller organizations and then kind of merged into one. And that's how we became Placer County. With that, we've been doing a couple different events. Right now, we have our big Chalk It Up tour that's going on, where we're going to the different elementary schools, the different parks in the area, leaving messages of hope. Those all started from a few weeks ago. There was one of the schools in the area where somebody left some racist graffiti. So we're trying to figure out a way how to turn a negative into a positive. So we had the kids come out. We had over 120 show up and just messages of love just all up and down the sidewalk. So it was a beautiful event. From there, the school district came out. They wanted me to do all of the Rockland schools. So we're doing the Rockland schools. And now we have Eureka School District on board. And hopefully we can get some of the other school districts on board as well. Other things that we're working on is changing the curriculum in the schools. We have a little sub branch. One of my admins has a little sub branch that she's doing, and she's working on that. We just got done endorsing the ADM 6, Slate 6, Blue Wave Rising. So a lot of fun things coming up. This year is going to be a busy year. Those are the good things. On the kind of the more serious things, we do get out and protest, and it's not always the good things that you see, but we will get out there and do the dirty work that's needed as well. We will just continue to keep fighting for a change. It's 2021. It's time for that change. We've been going backwards for so many years, and now it's just time to continue to move forward and just change the world, make this world a better place. There's no room for racism in 2021. All right, in order to get in contact with me, you can reach me either on Instagram at DJ Mastix. You can reach me on Facebook at DJ Mastix, or you can find the Facebook group, which is Allies for Black Lives Placer County on Facebook. There are 3 questions that you have to answer in order to get in the group. So make sure if you want to follow us and see what we're doing, make sure you answer those 3 questions correctly, and we will get you in there.
My name is Alma Caravarin. I am a community organizer with Placer People of Faith Together, though I have been a community organizer for a bit before I came along. And so being able to think about all the different intersectional movements that are coming together and really honoring MLK, it's like really, really awesome to see. Placer People of Faith Together is an advocacy organization. We are on the ground, so connected to the different congregations in Placer County, but we are focused on a number of issues and the policy change, really, the steps that needs to happen at a local level and a larger level in order to make some more systemic changes. Our focus goes from food security to housing affordability and access to immigration issues and social justice around that and climate change. Right now, during the pandemic, we know that a lot of the focuses for like more long-term stuff have really been put on hold because of the urgency of the moment. And so currently, Placer People of Faith Together has been working along with other partners here in the county to get the communities that have been hardest hit, where the pain is, basically getting those resources together, trying to get the right information places, and to be able to see a change, to be able to see some hope in our community. So one of the projects concretely that we're working on currently is the delivery of 3,000 kits that include face masks for both adults and children, as well as hand sanitizer and other information about how to get resources, how to get medical help and assistance for COVID issues or COVID problems for families that are in the affordable areas throughout the country, as well as the Latino immigrant community. So we are part of the Mask Up campaign, and we are moving this forward to the end of this month to try to get all that information and that material out. Additionally, one of our efforts right now is also the going to be moving to distribute financial assistance to about 100 to 200 families over the next 2 months in those like hardest hit areas. And we're looking for help. We're looking for with the to connect you, and also feel free to ask, for help at that number. We are able to try to connect folks with other organizations that we're partnering and finding along the way that are here for the same reason that we are, for the people and for good, healthy, fair living for all. So thank you all for joining today, and again, happy MLK Day.
Martin Luther King Jr. once said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Hi, my name is Christian. I'm a lifelong member of the Auburn Hip Hop Congress, and I also work for a company called Granite Wellness Centers. With the difficulties of the last year, a lot of people in our community have struggled and are struggling with both mental health and substance use issues. Parents, are you concerned that your teen may have a substance use problem and you need a way for him or her to make a positive change in their life? At Granite Wellness Centers, we offer a no-cost substance use prevention and early intervention program to support young people who have been referred either by their school, by their parents, or even by themselves. The opposite of addiction is connection. At Granite Wellness Centers, we offer support and connection, which is something that is lacked in a lot of communities. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction and need free and confidential information, you can call or text our hotline at area code 530-388-0359, or for more information, you can visit our website at www.granitewellness.org. Things are getting better, but it may take a while for us to get back on our feet. So it's important that our community pulls together with strength and understanding and support for all, young and old.
Rock, you're muted.
Oh man, I don't even remember what I said. But thank you. That was Damien, that was Elma, and that was Christian Kudo, who I know is Courage. But each of those resources is incredibly important in our community. We just thought it was vital for us to share that, as that's always been a huge part of what we do at our community celebration, is lift up those doing the work and giving people a way to connect with that. As Natalie said, please connect with us if you want to get in contact with anybody, or reach out to them directly online. All right. And then Haley, are you there?
Yes.
Do you want me
I
to do
don't
the
know if I'm
intro?
lagging though.
Yeah, you sound great. I think when we're both on screen, it sounds good.
Okay. All right. Then we have up next, we have Tomas Evangelista with Evangelista Community Relations.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Awesome. Hello, everyone. Thank you, first of all, Natalie and Rocky, for continuing this amazing event. Thank you to our presenters and our hosts. And I always look forward to this event every year because it's at the beginning of the year. It's the beginning of a new year. It celebrates, of course, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but it also provides an opportunity for all of us to get together or see each other, to again begin to organize for the new year, continue to organize. And it's just right now in a time with COVID when we haven't seen each other, I think to me, it just really seeing everybody really brings joy to my heart, and hearing all the stories and the messages. The good thing about being virtual is you can cry in your own home, cry tears of joy, of course, but all these messages definitely make us feel well. So thank you so much for that introduction. I am with Evangelista Community Relations, but I'm also co-founder of California Dreamers. I work with advocating for immigrants in our community, and it's pretty much the most work that I've done has been over the last 5 years. When I first started speaking out about my undocumented status, I didn't know where that was going to go, but it's really brought me a lot of great connections and a lot of good that we've done in our own communities. But I wouldn't have had the strength to do that without the support of mentors, former teachers, and pretty much the community that encouraged us to use our voice. And I want to continue that. I want to continue to share my story, but also empower others to share their own, because I really believe that that's how we create change. Human connection, knowing each other, knowing our stories. They are powerful. They could change people's views and bring us together. So, with today being Martin Luther King Jr., I feel like, his life, he shared his story. He was a part of the civil rights movement. And I want to connect that to immigration because it also played a big part in immigrant rights. The civil rights movement, of course, highlighted all the errors, human rights atrocities that the United States was doing in the 1950s and before, during the Jim Crow eras. But I think it highlighted a lot of the horrible things that were going on with the immigrants at the time. And actually the civil rights work led to the 1965 Immigration Act, which opened the doors to a lot of people around the world to come to the United States, and probably impacted a lot of our parents and grandparents that immigrated here to the United States. So we have a lot of thanks to give to Martin Luther King Jr. for his work, because it impacted everybody. But we must continue this work. And I know over the last year, we've had a lot of successes, starting with the DACA immigration victory in the Supreme Court. There was 3 years of all of you marching with us and standing with us during the most difficult times of uncertainty, where we didn't know what was going to happen with DACA. And I just want to thank everybody for doing that, because I don't think we would have won without the voices and the marching and everybody speaking up to that. And I think that's something that we need to look at, a huge win, and also for it to show that our efforts work, and that we need to continue it for, of course, Black lives, LGBTQ, poor people in poverty, and other people that are being underserved. So today, I really came on. I wanted to give this opportunity to highlight some of that, but also to share with you what I'm doing right now. Of course, I am started my own organization called Evangelista Community Relations, and our goal is to connect the community to the policymakers. To our mission is to continue to connect those two, because I feel like there's a lot of people that aren't participating in our civic engagement. Of course, we just had the census. Thank you, everybody, for filling that out. If you guys got a call, a text message, that's probably from us. We also got involved with youth voter outreach. So if you guys got bothered with that, that's probably us too. So, but we want to continue. And right now with COVID, a lot of us have been impacted, but some of us have been impacted more than others. I've had the opportunity to have a lot of success this year, and I wanted to share that with everybody as much as I can, because the dream that I've had was to bring up and help people that were in my situation. For some of you that don't know my story, I grew up in Auburn, and I found out I was undocumented when I was 15, and a lot of people in the community helped to get where I am. I wouldn't have finished college without the support and help with random people that donated to help me get through college, because at the time I didn't qualify for financial aid. And I know these 10 to 12 people that donated, they didn't want them to be noticed. It was just an act that they wanted to help somebody that was in need. And I feel like we need to continue that. And now that I'm in a position of that I can help others financially, I just wanted to come on here and announce a scholarship that I'm launching at the end of the month for immigrants that are graduating from Placer High School, just because there are still barriers to a lot of for someone to receive an education after high school. A lot of those are financial barriers, and some of us, we've seen some of that with the cost of books, the cost of living, and I want to be able to help somebody like that went through what I went through. So this scholarship is going to be named after my grandmother, Domitila Benitez Immigrant Scholarship. And I'm naming it after her because I think people need to know her story. I think that she is somebody that helped me get to where I am. She immigrated to the United States after my mother passed away to take care of myself, my brother, and my cousin in Auburn. Her life started without going to any school. She didn't go to any, she didn't have any education. She had to work since she was 6 years old. So she doesn't read or write in Spanish. So she definitely is my hero, and she came to the United States to take care of us. She worked, you hear these stories of our ancestors, immigrants coming to the United States without nothing and making something and bringing their families. And this is a story that I think really deserves to be said. So I'm naming the scholarship after her, and it's going to be two scholarships, two winners of scholarships of $1,000. It's going to go to immigrants or people that have parents that are immigrants, so that they can continue their education. I'm going to have more information on our website at evangelistacr.com, and people will be able to sign up and hopefully get some help. I do want to expand this and have more in the future, where we can spread this help to immigrants graduating in other high schools in Placer County. I'll be organizing donations. So if you would like to help by donating, that will be up later on in the near future. Also, this year I will be the one, of course, picking the two that will receive this help, but I'm also looking for people that would like to be on the board, because after this year, I want to have people come together and help identify people that will get this help. And also, I have family that's going to graduate high school in the future, and I want to make sure that it's fair, and that that they're also able to have an opportunity and not be denied just because they're related to me. So I want people to decide that. So we're going to have more work coming up. So I'll end with this. I know we have an administration that we can work with, but it's still going to take a lot of work to create a pathway to citizenship for a lot of the undocumented communities in our country. So I ask you to join in these efforts. You can go follow California Dreamers. That's our Facebook page where we talk and share information for immigrant opportunities and other actions. So also evangelistic community relations. And yeah, so I hope to see you in the near future when COVID is coming down, or see you virtually. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tomas. I just want to take a minute too to acknowledge all the work you've done since I've known you as well, Tomas. You are an inspiration in our community, and watching you rise as a local leader with the heart for it. That's the most important thing. Your heart is in it, and you're working with those, I think, that need it most, and reaching into those areas where, don't often get reached into enough. Thank you for that. And, I also want to acknowledge that Tomas is one of the, we're going to be calling it like founding committee members for the Placer Poor People's Campaign as well. We have an amazing team forming, and I hope you guys get involved. And I hope that you guys support Tomas. Go to his website. I'll put it up one more time. And stay tuned for more information about the scholarship or how you can support or get involved. All right. Thank you, Tomas.
Thank you.
All right, so I gotta keep it going, and I want to acknowledge that we're well over our time. We do this sometimes. We try to fit a lot into a 2-hour program, but there's just too much, good to put out. So we don't want to cut anybody short, and with all the technical stuff, we have to adapt sometimes. But thank you guys for sticking around. I see 36 people still viewing right now live, and then you'll be able to share this and others be able to watch it later on YouTube and on Facebook. So thank you all for that. We're going to continue on with the last couple parts of our program. One of them, I just want to finish up the community reports and stuff. There are so many other organizations that we didn't get to have come on today that are doing great work in our community. And, I don't have time to give updates or everything on all of them, but I just want to mention, if you're looking for ways to get involved, all the people that have spoken today are on the ground doing the work, and they're connected with all these organizations too. But some others to look out for that are doing great work with COVID and reaching into populations that are hit the hardest are Placer Community Foundation, Latino Leadership. I heard recently Lincoln Lighthouse, and I heard recently about some money that's available for people at risk of homelessness. And that's through VOA. I'll have to get some information on that, but I just wanted to share that is a resource, and that's something we're looking at. So anyways, we're going to keep the program moving. We got another great quick video with Brother Carter coming up next. He's an amazing individual and a member of the Sacramento Poor People's Campaign, one of the co-chairs of the California Poor People's Campaign in Sacramento. So I just wanted to introduce him and, lift up some of the work he's doing. He's really passionate about what he's sharing today. We pre-recorded this on January 15th on Martin Luther King's birthday at a spot that's very special to him in Sacramento that some people don't know about. So anyways, I'll pull him up now and hope you guys enjoy. Uno más. Yes. All right, here it is.
People of color, my sisters and brothers, I want to welcome you today to the 92nd birthday of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today, we're in Sacramento, California. We're on the corner of Martin Luther King and 15th Avenue, which I call the cornerstone of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's Freedom and Democracy and the beloved community. 15th and Martin Luther King Boulevard in Sacramento, California is the only one in the nation that has this street, and that's why it makes it a cornerstone of the legacy and the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're here now to commemorate that work that holds today from the social justice movement all the way to the Poor People's Campaign. Now today, we come 92 years later in the 21st century of this new millennium. And what we say is to get back to the things that hold of righteousness and indignation of the work that he has accomplished in the social justice movement. It is up to us today to take on this legacy and this commitment, which each and every one of us holds a purpose to with our lives. And in saying that, I want everybody today to wake up and do something in service for the work that Dr. King has allowed us to achieve today, especially when it comes to the laws today. Let's remember, Dr. King's work is called love and justice. Love and justice is what's needed today across this nation. As you just recently seen, this attack on the democracy in the state capital of Washington, D.C. That work and that took place in Washington, D.C., that attack was the attack on our democracy. When we talk about a multiracial democracy, people from all walks and different sizes, shapes, and colors that represents us. When we hear people of the extreme say socialism, it's not socialism, it's social justice. And that is what they're trying to stop today. The right for you and me to have in this nation. To say make America great again, America is already great from the work that has already been done from those that came before us. And starting with the work of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who left us with the Poor People's Campaign. The Poor People's Campaign, to where now today over 140 million people were left in poverty. And now since this pandemic, there's over 8 million people today that are going into poverty behind this pandemic. It's up to us today to wake up and come to the call and not separate or divide from this nation of the things that have been talked about that holds of this democracy. This democracy was made for us to live in and join as a beloved community. And today I stand in the beloved community, a community that holds the cornerstone of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. As I point up here to show you 5th Avenue and Martin Luther King, the only one in the nation that holds of his birthday and of his name. And let's remember, Dr. King was born January 15th of 1929, and now he is 92 years old. So just think about what I just said from his birthday and to the year that he was born. Us today to the legacy and the cornerstone of democracy. When we talk about democracy, we must talk about the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who was assassinated because he empowered people to come up out of poverty, to uplift them and to connect the dots so they can live a better life. And here we are today in our nation at a standstill in the middle of a pandemic that is taking lives. Every day, over 400,000 people today have lost their lives behind this pandemic because we have had a president that do not and won't not understand that the main street of this nation is the nation. This nation is not of Wall Street. It is not of the rich and those that are better off. It's of a nation that continues to work and make things happen for their lives, to make things better in the pursuit of happiness. This is where we stand today as a nation. We, the people, the purpose, and the promise, must come together as a beloved community. Because if we don't, we'll go through self-destruction of ourselves. At the end of the day, we all share the same guarantee. And that guarantee is that one day we're going to leave this nation. One day we're going to believe. What will you do to make a difference in your life, to save somebody else's life, or do something for somebody else that is doing less fortunate than you? That is the call today. Dr. King taught us about the revolution of value and the hopes and dreams that we are on this tedious journey to reach the destiny. That destiny holds of a cloth. That cloth of destiny is in each and every one of us. It is embedded in our lives. No matter what nationality that you are the humanities and the spirit of humanities to do the right thing. Just remember, love and justice is the answer and solution today. Because if we start with love and justice, we can overcome any problem today here in the United States of America. And I speak to you from this cornerstone that holds the only birthright of Dr. King in any community. It's for us to see, it's for us to be, and it's for us to hold hope. And as we say hope is helping other people prosper and endure. And let us be that and do that. Let us be who we ought to be and who we need to be in this nation. With the gold coin of liberty of 1909,
Let me
it was
stop
found
this.
January.
All right. Yes, that was Brother Carter from the Poor People's Campaign in Sacramento. They're doing the most amazing work. I know for a fact he's out there most days of the week feeding the homeless, reaching into the schools that have the most, kids that are unhoused or experiencing poverty. He's out there feeding them and making partnerships with businesses to help give them pizza and other things every week, And even when it wasn't legal, I know that they were out there feeding the homeless every single weekend. So big ups to Brother Carter, bigs up to the Poor People's Campaign. If you're about that real on the ground work, definitely connect with them and find out more about what they're doing. I'm gonna transition now. We have another amazing guest to help close us out. This is our last live performance of the day. A good friend of ours who's been a big part of the Martin Luther King ceremony every year, as well as our Earth Day festival, and does so much more. She's a musician, a community organizer. She's a radio broadcaster with Indigenous Soul. That's KFOK 95.1 live out of Georgetown. And she's just an amazing human being who always shows up, wherever she sees it's of value. So thank you, Mignon. I'm going to introduce you now. Are you with us? Hey, Mignon. All right. So I think you can get started. Oh, we can't hear you yet. You might be muted still. All right. Enjoy the beautiful music of Mignon Jelly. Still can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Let's see. Is your audio connected? It looks like you're on. Let's see. I'm not sure what's happening, Mignon. I can see you. I just can't hear you coming through. Yeah, it's okay. We could take just a second here if you would like. The other thing is we might be able to close with you if we'd like to show Stan Padilla's closing words. Just let me know if it becomes too much trouble to be heard. I still can't hear you. Maybe log out and log back in real quick and see if that helps anything.
Automatically adjust. Can you hear me yet?
All right, we might need to log out and log back in. Maybe you could take us out with some flute at the end after Stan speaks.
Okay, I'll log out.
Can you hear Vanessa?
I hear her. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is it me? I don't know what's going on here.
I just heard her.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize. Somehow something got pushed on mine. Let's see if it works now. You guys are probably cracking up over there. I bet I could check the comments and people were helping. All right. We love you all. Thank you for your patience. And welcome to the stage, Mignon Helle.
It's good afternoon now. And glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation by Auburn Hip Hop Congress, Natalie and Rocky. Anyway, I'm going to play two songs real quick. And the first song is an original. When I first moved out here to the Sierra foothills, I was inspired by the indigenous people that lived here. And this is originally called Sierra War Cry. It was later used in a play called Something Inside is Broken. And it was renamed Sutter's Theme, and it was rearranged. But the Nisenan lyrics come from Martin Luther King's. And thanks to Alan Wallace for translating it into Nisenan. So these are the words from Martin Luther King. When we look at modern man, we have to face the fact that modern man suffers from a kind of poverty of the spirit which stands in glaring contrast with a scientific and technological abundance. We've learned to swim the seas as fish. We've learned to swim the seas as fish, yet we haven't learned to walk the earth as brothers and sisters. So actually, I composed this around 2006, I think. Okay, and the second song also was composed by Goodchild Aguilar. It was originally called Wambly Oyatewi for his grandma. And this was also used in the play, the local play, Something Inside Is Broken. And it was renamed the work song. And pretty much the theme of it was about something inside is broken, something is wrong with you, are you sick? Why are you angry? See a woman I am. See a man I am. to just finish it, if you don't mind. I also work for the Buffalo Field Campaign and support the Buffalo Field Campaign, which is to protect the last of the wild, genetically pure, free-roaming buffalo in Yellowstone. And I'm going to leave you with some words by the co-founder of the Buffalo Field Campaign. She was a Lakota elder, passed on back in 2014. Her name was Rosalie Little Thunder. And these are her words. Remind yourself every morning, every morning, every morning, I'm going to do something. I've made a commitment, not for yourself, but beyond yourself. You belong to the collective. Don't go wandering off or you will perish. With that said, thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of the day. And all lives are sacred.
Yes. Water is sacred. Life is sacred. Thank you for the beautiful medicine and music, Mignon. It's always an honor to have you a part of the things we get to do together. And, the one woman band, as you say, for those that didn't pick up, she had multiple things playing at once. And it's just beautiful, every time. Sometimes at our Earth Day festival, she even brings the electronic sounds out and mixes them up with the flute. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you again, Mignon. And I'm going to introduce Vanessa, or bring Vanessa back on, and we're going to close out with Stampadilla. All right. So before I do that, though, and Vanessa, you can come on anytime, I just wanted to give a special thanks again to specifically Law, our keynote speaker, and to Haley. I know that they had a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm so grateful that it pushed through and we were able to hear most of everything. But for the parts that we missed, I just want to apologize. And one, I want to acknowledge Law. That was so great. So much good feedback already. And we're going to have him come back for a workshop soon. So be looking out for that. Those are on Thursdays, and we'll be able to have him do a full 2-hour discussion for that one. He said something about being in the studio even, so we'll see. And with that, I bring Vanessa back on, and she's going to introduce Stan for our closing words.
That was a beautiful, beautiful flute. And really, you were your own band, so thank you for that. I am going to introduce Stan Badia, who is an artist, activist, cultural educator, and really just a special person in many of our hearts, as well as a mentor to so many in this community. And I'm looking forward to hearing how he ends this beautiful program.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, everybody, for all your contributions. I'm so glad that we get together and we're able to get together annually and talk like this as a community and share with one another. You know, we live in uncertain and unprecedented times. So the message I want to bring is that no matter how things are, no matter how things look, we always have to maintain a decorum and a belief in a faith in what is good, what's right, and what's true. There will always be many different points of view, different opinions, different ways of doing things. All of that has to be respected. That's the tolerance and the patience that we give to moving forward and for progressive evolution. In these unprecedented times, it takes an unprecedented deep commitment of faith. So I call out to everyone to reach deeper, further, and beyond anything that we've done before to find a middle ground, a true grounding and a root, a seed of nonviolence that we can begin to germinate and grow together. It's of importance that we move in harmony and in step and in thought together. There is a greater force when we work together with united minds, united hearts. Whatever is coming, we know we are able and we are capable of adjusting, adapting, and surviving to. We must first remember who we are, what we're doing, and where we're going. Ours is the shiny hill, the light on the hill, straight above, to move in progression for a nonviolent movement, for the equity of all and the equanimity of all living things moving together. We need to call and put in check our own negative emotions, impatience, anger, intolerance. It's time first that we put those in check, put those in balance, clear our minds, dedicate our souls. This is soul force that we're talking about now. This is not an intellectual exercise or something that just can be done because we want it to happen. This takes creative will force, soul force, and then we can move forward. In uncertain times, the medicine is uncertain behavior. So if we can carry with us in the midst of the struggle and in the midst of the change, a joyful heart, humor, laughter, an unprecedented, spontaneous way of doing things, keeping ourselves in the moment. We have to educate ourselves to stay in the moment and act in alignment with a much bigger picture. The pattern has been laid before us already. Dr. King and all of the Gandhian tradition and all the saints of the world and culture bearers, warriors have set the patterns before us. It is our job to carry this next stage, this next phase, with what we could do, what we have learned. What we have learned is different in each. There's room for everybody. Everybody may have a different role or a different aspect to play. We're all important. For those out on the front lines, for those who are staying home and taking care of the young, to feed the others. Everybody has a job to do. Each job is important. Each job is an integral part of the whole movement of a progressive movement moving forward. It's movement, not to stand still, not to move backwards, not to go back and forth. We must use resolve. No doubt, no lack of confidence, no lack of insecurities or fear. The call ahead is, we don't know what's coming. We may not return from this journey. There are many things that can happen, but we are sure of is that we're going to take conscious step by conscious step, moving ever forward towards that bridge of liberation and freedom. Keep our heroes in mind, and coming to my mind today is Mr. John Lewis, going over the Pettit Bridge, whatever may come. He made it past that bridge and onto that bridge and created a whole new world. So the call, we can do it. We are bridge builders, boundary crossers, border crossers, dreamers, and activists on the theater of change. Have fun, believe in one another, do your best, never give up, never doubt yourself. Once you begin to move, you move with the power of the wind and the power of the soul. I'm speaking from Northern California, wherever you're hearing this from, whatever time, whatever you're doing, whatever. Look around you. Gather what's good. Gather what's strong. Gather what's lasting. And let's move together and meet each other in the next step. We will succeed. I don't know how. I can't guarantee any of that. But what I can guarantee is we will succeed. The good and the progressive will triumph over the darkness, over the ignorance. I want to thank you all. Again, the opportunity to be with you. Thank you all for doing what you do, what you're working on. Try your best. Love one another. Take care of and look out for each other. We will triumph. There will be a liberation this time. Our time is now.
You're muted again, Rock.
Thank you. There will be a liberation this time. I love that line so much. Last night when I was editing it, I was just kept replaying that part. And, I take so much hope and inspiration from Stan. And, as somebody who's walked his talk and continues to lead in our community, new paths and, the evolution of, some of the work that we're doing and the struggles we've been through, I think Stan really helps ground us and give us, direction moving forward. So thank you for that, Stan. Grateful for all you do, and huge love and respect to our elders in our community that have been holding us down. With that, I just want to thank everybody for being a part of our, for watching, for tuning in, wherever you are, for being a part of our program. I really appreciate everybody that shared today, and just can't say enough about how good this went. I know it went a whole hour over. So thank you for those that tuned in. Everybody else, please feel free to share this, send this love out into the world. This is our gift from all of us. So peace and blessings, love and light. Much love to everybody. Freedom, justice, and equity always. Let's continue to work towards building those bridges and making our communities better places for everybody. Peace. And we'll end with one more song. All right.
This song that we're about to learn is a song that's entitled "Somebody's Hurting My Brother." Now, this song was actually born in a town hall meeting around coal ash. And the meeting came about because Duke Energy was spilling coal ash into poor Black and brown and poor white neighborhoods. After hearing testimony after testimony of people who were impacted physically and mentally by the coal ash, this song came as an inspiration of those testimonies. So I'll call to you, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on, and your response is far too long. Yes, it's gone on. Far too long. It's gone on. Far too long. Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on. Far too long. Now the end is, and we won't be silent anymore. We'll say that together. And we won't be silent anymore. Okay? And so we'll try the rehearsal version, which goes, oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. I tell you it's gone on far too long. Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. Together, and we won't be silent anymore. Now we're gonna put a little rhythm to this, okay? Okay, we're speed it up just a little bit. Not too fast. Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Tell you it's gone on far too long. Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Did you hear somebody's poisoning the water, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's poisoning the water, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Have you heard somebody wants to build that wall, y'all, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. And we won't be silent anymore. And we won't be silent anymore. Just the voices start clapping, and we won't. And we won't be silent anymore. Last time, all together. And we won't be silent
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Happy Martin Luther King Day.